Can you guys hear me?
No.
Back if you can hear me.
No, you guys can have a little bit. It's not that loud, though.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. If you can't hear me, raise your hand. Okay, you can go. Perfect. Well, thank you guys for all coming tonight.
Where did we get this speaker from again, Steve?
We are.
Facebook.
The plan for the rest of it tonight is we're going to have a couple people come to talk. We're going to have a candle ceremony. Raise your hand if you got a candle. Perfect. Okay. So we're going to have a candle ceremony, and then we are going to have an open mic for people to come up if they want to say something or have a funny story they want to tell. So, yeah. I think I wrote something down. I hope it's right what I want to say. Thank you guys for coming back. So, hi everyone. My name is Jacob Kumek. That's that. Hold on. Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Hold it close to your mouth.
Okay, well, I'm going to do this. Here's something okay. I see a lot of friendly faces, but those who don't know me, my name is Jacob Kumek. I ran Drexel Ducks with Brendan, and yeah, I met him. Okay. Over the last year, I found these little resin ducks that he has placed all over campus. I remember Kelly Hall on the stairs, the kitchen, the bathroom. I think I found one in the ceiling tiles at one point in time. And it was like they were multiplying. At some point, I had no idea who was doing it. I thought it was just a bunch of people around Kelly that thought it was like the exact same funny idea. It turns out it was just him. Even now, finding the new duck in some obscure place makes me smile. Even if it's like the same place as every time. But if it's in the main building, Kelly Hall, around campus, just seeing it just brings a smile to my face. I met Brendan around halfway through freshman year. He was just chatting with people in the Kelly lobby. Everywhere from just the guys living on the top floor, people were just walking by, and he would go say hi and just ask them how their day was going. I didn't connect he was the duck guy, even with all the shirts, the hats, the constant fact he had stuff in his pocket, up until he literally spelled it out to me and yeah, I just placed these around campus. I found it funny. I didn't know he was doing that until he literally told me to my face. From having Drexel police arrest his giant inflatable duck to having a little bath outside where he placed the giant inflatable duck, I didn't remember a time where I could see him without ducks in his pocket, on him, or just there. I didn't do that. So, it's been a wild ride trying to keep up with him. Every time he would find a way to create more duck content, it would always be okay, how do I post this? What do I do to try and make sure everybody can see it and have a smile? So, the last time I remember meeting Brendan, it was a perfect day outside. The sky was bright blue, the birds were chirping, it was the perfect temperature to sit outside and enjoy the sun. We talked about everything from working with metal in a makerspace and blacksmithing to what do you call Canadian bacon when you're in Canada. And we had a friend stop by and give us some sour cream chocolate chip cookies to taste test. I swear they were good. Like, even if people think they're gross, it did taste really good to me. Him, not so much. The curious part I remember about the moment is just how perfect it was. Without having to worry about anything, without having to stress or think about homework or class or anything else like that. That's just how he made me feel when I talked to him. Those perfect little moments, I can think of dozens of them right now. And every time I think about like the times and It's something I remember of him. It's always happy. And I don't remember a time where it doesn't. And yeah, I think that's all I wanted to say. I know Garvey has something he would like to say as well. We are going to pass it along.
Thank you, Jake. That was great. That was beautiful. Garvey, but I was close friend with Brendan, and I just want to start by thanking all of you for coming out here. This is much more than I think any of us really expected. Brendan touched so many of you. He was so special to so many of us, and this means, I know, so much to us, to his friends, to you, to his family. I just want to say thank you. It certainly means a lot. All of you are here for that reason, for Brendan, to celebrate him, to celebrate his life. Maybe you were a close friend to him. Maybe he just stopped you on some random school night and asked you a question you didn't have a good answer to. Or maybe you knew him through all the ducks kid around campus. I know you all sold ducks around campus. That was Brendan trying to make people smile, trying to bring happiness and joy to anyone he could without any, he wanted no reward, no accolade, no praise for what he decided was just love and joy, and he wanted to share that freely. I remember us exploring main building on our freshman year. He would find all these intricately hidden places to hide ducks that I'm sure no one would ever find, and then also other ones that were like right in plain sight. But while he was, searching for these places, he had this laundry list of questions to ask me about what I thought, just about anything, life, love, relationships, school, very philosophical. And I wish I had better answers to those questions. Yesterday, I had the honor of hearing my friend Dave speak at the Newman Center during the memorial for Brendan, and he was telling a story about how Brendan asked him these questions. It was Brendan asking his Bible study group, "What does silence mean to you?" He asked me that same question right over there in Urban Eatery while I'm chowing down on some really dry chicken. You guys know. I didn't have a good answer between bites of, dry chicken, and I still don't. But Brendan said silence was an opportunity to ask questions, to listen, and to see people. I hear a new silence now. It's not a sad silence. It's a silence that Brendan left us with, but I want to repeat this, it's not sad. He left us with these ducks, with these memories. He left us with the power to make other people smile through this medium that he brought to us, right? All these little ducks. And that's what he spent his time doing, right? Making strangers smile with no want or desire to be recognized for. He just wanted to bring love and joy to other people, and that's something I admired a lot about him. These ducks that I hope most of you are holding, and we still have a ton out there, so if you don't have any yet, please just get some. Take a duck. Someone wise told me that more is more, and I agree with that, especially with the ducks. So Brendan hid ducks around campus. He drew them in chalk, posted signs and windows, put magnets up, stickers, pretended some ducks existed when they didn't. He numbered 0 through 50, left out a few numbers, wanted people to find them. And they're all for people he didn't meet, people that might never know his name. He just wanted to make someone say a little less bad, a little better. We built a habit, one that I want all of us here at Drexel to make a tradition, of giving joy away for free. Just joy passed from one person to the next, willingly and freely. That was him everywhere. In March, my father passed away. When I told Brendan, his response first was like, "I'm so sorry," and the next sentence was, "When are you free?" He was in Texas at the time. I was here, Billy. That weekend, he took a plane to come see me because I was hurting. I don't know if that's reasonable at all, but it certainly means a lot. He knew his friend was hurting, so he got on a plane, dropped any plans he had, and flew halfway across this country to give his friend a hug. I don't know how to explain that. I didn't know how to thank him enough for that. I hope he knew how grateful I was to call him my friend. I ask you all to remember Brendan as he lived, the same lovely, thoughtful, loving person for all of you here tonight. We'll spread the joy he taught us how to spread, and we'll show up for our friends the way he told us and showed us how to show up. Not just friends though, neighbors, strangers, anyone who looks like they could use a smile. So, thank you. I'm just going to speak now. Thank you, Barbie. That was amazing. Last year, like a lot of you, I lived in Kelly Hall, and I lived on the 10th floor, and every day when I get back from class, I'd see Brendan hanging out in the lobby, either alone or with some friends, and seeing him there would always just turn into a conversation. And we talk about the most random things, and it kind of just turned into a habit for me, where every day when I'm on my way back to the dorm, I'd look for him just to talk to him. And I know this is like the cliche thing everyone says whenever someone passes away, like they always lit up the room or whatever, but Brendan was genuinely like that. He had this positive energy about him where like the second you'd start talking to him, he'd immediately uplift your mood. And just like even the whole ducks thing, the reasoning behind it is that he believed just how can somebody not smile when you see a duck? He really knew how to brighten up all our days. There'd be random times where he'd hit me up just to check in on me. Like not when I seemed off, but just like out of the blue as well. And I always appreciated getting those "How are you" messages from him because you don't really meet many people that check in and show they care out of the blue like that. Simple words like those just showed what type of person he was, and I find myself doing the same now because you never know what's going on in someone else's life, and sometimes it's just a random "Amen, how are you?" that could make all the difference for someone. He had this uplifting and spontaneous energy about him that would kind of just like catch your attention. Like I remember seeing bro on his story randomly run like a marathon back to campus on a school night just because he wanted to. I also remember in the Drexel gym on the track where people would be running by him, he would just be putting a duck up in the window so for everyone to see. And just like seeing the things he would do and the energy surrounding him would always have me and a couple other guys I know just go, hey, let's check Drexel Ducks. I wonder what Brendan's up to tonight. And I'm always going to remember him for that. Last time I saw him, it was about a year ago when we were moving out at the end of freshman year. A group of us ran into him and his dad moving out, and we went in to help him and say our goodbyes to him. And I remember all I said to him was, I'll see you next year, bro. It was nice having you around. Brendan made the Ducks his identity from then. You'd always see him wearing Duck merch, and he'd always have like multiple rubber ducks just in his pocket. Like I remember during the USC Mine Ice Bucket Challenge, I was like frantically looking for somebody that had a bin or a bucket so I could just like do the Ice Bucket Challenge. And I ran into Brendan in Kelly Commons, and he had this massive bin full of resin ducks. And we went and filled that up with the ice water, and he dumped that on me along with the ducks. I'm always going to remember Brendan, not just for the ducks, but for everything he did to make sure we had smiles on our faces. That uplifting energy and spontaneous mood he'd be in low-key inspired me to want to be like that, and there aren't many people that have had that effect on me.
And hopefully we can keep Drexel Ducks going just as a tribute to him and carry on that belief of spreading happiness. Because how could someone not smile after seeing a duck, you know? That's all I have. I know Sam wants to speak next, so...
What's up, everybody? I'm Sam. I just wanted to talk a little bit about how spontaneous Brendan was and how much I admired that. So Brendan did this funny thing where over the course of the week, I had picked a day or a night that I'm like, all right, here's what I'm doing, 4 or 5 hours of homework or work or whatever I need to do. And I'm like, this is going to be the time. And then I'm like halfway through it, and Brendan calls me and he's like, hey, let's go do something that's not your homework, that's probably due tomorrow, or you have an exam tomorrow that you don't need to study for anymore. And while a lot of times I had to turn him down because of an exam or some due date or whatever, there was one time he gave me a call and said, let's go sledding, because it had just snowed here. And I said, Brendan, we live in Philadelphia. Where are we going sledding? And he goes, oh, the art museum, of course. Okay. And so at like 8 p.m. on, I want to say it was a Sunday night, maybe. So class in the morning, you know, stuff to do in the morning, you know. We go to the art museum, and I say, Brendan, what are we sledding on? And he's like, the baby pool, of course. Now, why he had a baby pool, I would have to imagine it's duck related. But we lived in Dormant, so where he kept this baby pool, I can only imagine, because those things take up a lot of space. But they also don't hold 6 people when you're trying to go down a hill at the art museum. So that was some of the best times of my freshman year last year. And I just loved how spontaneous he was and how he could put off whatever, do whatever he felt like doing. And it inspires me now to live my life more in the moment and more presently, and just to say yes to people. You know, when my friends are doing something and I can push off something that doesn't matter as much, say yes to them and do that. So, and I know Brendan has inspired us all in different ways, but that's one of the biggest ways that he's inspired me.
Hi. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Beckett. I was Brendan's roommate for the fall and winter term. And I actually have 2 things I want to say here, so I'm going to try and keep both these speeches relatively short. One of them is from one of our friends, Sharia, who unfortunately was not able to make it today. So, but he really wanted to say something here, so he sent me a little blurb about a story he had with Brendan that he wanted to share. So for context, I think Tom's mentioned this. Brendan had a tendency to randomly just leave on 6 to 8 hour walks in the middle of the night. I cannot explain why he did this. Just all of a sudden he would get up at 11 p.m. and then come back at like 5 a.m. saying his legs were killing him, and I told him, shut up, go back to bed, I'm tired. This is about the time that Sharia tried to go on one of those walks with him. Brendan was one of my closest friends. I know him since I came here, and in fact, he was one of the first people I met at Drexel. I'm sure that Brendan's friends knew that he used to like going on really, really long walks. He'd asked me to come during the winter, and I had agreed. However, due to the weather, we ended up canceling. Later in the spring, we never got the chance to do it because he went home for co-op. However, one evening, when he was back in town, we did go for a somewhat shorter version of one of his long walks. Even though we didn't really talk a whole lot during the walk, I never felt closer to him. I knew how much that walk meant to him, and also how much it meant for me to come with him. Nearing the end, as we got tired, we were talking more just to distract ourselves from how tired we were. I asked him a question offhand about how he kept walking for so long on these walks. He told me that the answer was simple. If he could just take one more step, and he would. And if he could take a step after that, he would. And if he had just enough to take another step after that, he would. And before he knew it, he was done. That message really struck me deep down then, it does even more now. Brendan, wherever you are, I hope you're at peace. Know that I and your friends love you and miss you even more. Life without you won't be the easiest, but I promise I'll take it one step at a time. That was from Sharia Snilas. And me and him do plan on going on an 8-hour walk at some point in memory of Brendan. So if anyone would like to put your legs through hell with us, feel free to reach out. Okay. Check the Drexel Docs post for more info on that. But what I wanted to say was just a little something about living with him, which probably was the greatest experience I've had at Drexel, to be honest. When I first moved into Brendan, I remember he told me something that has always stuck with me that I never really understood until about the time the term ended. It was that he felt as though no one really understood him. He tried to describe it that no matter how close his friends were with him, he felt that like he was always keeping something from them. So I decided right there that it would be my job to try and understand Brendan for the rest of the term. So I ended up learning a lot. I learned that his favorite juice was a specific strawberry-cranberry mix. We found that one together, and it quickly became my favorite juice as well. I learned that he loved Damascus and bismuth, which he often used to make gifts. The greatest gift I've ever received was from Brendan. It is a sword he made me by hand. The coolest thing I own, probably. I learned that one of his favorite snacks was Nutella and pretzels, which I often found new containers of in the kitchen about every other night. And I learned that Brendan was also an incredible teacher. My favorite teacher at Drexel was Brendan. He often tried to explain incredible scientific concepts to me, like how there's a small chance the theory of the Big Bang might be wrong, and how light may actually travel at different speeds depending on which direction it's going. I remember that one because it took him about 2 hours to describe it to me, and I still don't get it. Despite all I learned about him, I began to realize what he meant more and more. His emotions and thoughts and ideas were so incredible and beautiful that sometimes he had trouble putting them into words. To some degree, I think that's why he often liked to show his poetry with me. And it was good. But it was also a true expression of himself, I think. At the end of the term, when he moved back to Dallas and I went back home, I couldn't help but feel like there was so much more that I wanted to know about him. And now more than ever, I wouldn't trade those two terms for anything. Brendan was the most unique and incredible person I'd ever had the honor of knowing, and it was the greatest shame that I failed to understand him more. There's nothing I wouldn't give for one more poem, one more idea, one more conversation, or one more moment to try and truly understand what was going on in that beautiful soul. So I promise you, brother, I will do my best to understand this messed up and chaotic swirl of emotions that you've left me with. Rest easy, and I love you.
Okay, so until it gets dark enough for us to do the candles, we are going to do an open mic if anybody wants to come up and tell a story, a funny moment, or if they want to share something about Brendan. You're more than welcome to come up now and say something.
Lonely Certainty by me. They see him always, that's the truth. No veil, no dust, no blind belief. Their wings wrought with perfect fire, yet never knowing the ache, the mire, of love that walks by faith, not sight, that gropes through dark to touch the light. They cannot choose they know their song. It sings the tale of no hidden wrong. As trembling hands that lift in trust, through ash and doubt, through smoke and dust. Oh, pity those who cannot stray, who never taste the bitter way of loving without proof's embrace, the sacred risk, the wrestled grace. We dust and shadow love him more, not sure but certain at the core. The angel shines, but we burn, not knowing yet for whom we yearn. Their love is fact, ours wild and sweet, a thing God would fight to. Thank you.
Faith is the wind that wills the tree.
Breathe air once more. Dash me. The air grows thick, a fading thread, a trembling grasp, and the world turns red. The edges blur, the light withdraws. Yet in this hush, my heart still crawls. With how the darkness hums so near, a lullaby to drown my fear. The burn will subside at struggle's end. No need for foes, no need for friends. Just one more breath, or maybe none, to dance upon the edge of dawn. The mind unwinds, the body sighs, as stars erupt behind my eyes. Oh, cool delight to slip, to sway, and lavish as sense dissolves away. So take the air, I'll take the deep, where silence singe and shadows creep. One final taste of fleeting high, then let me float, then let me die. But then a figure walks down the shore, and said unto me, breathe air once more.
It does mean a lot to see that recording. There's one thing about him I will always carry with me. It's how he was always there for me. He cared so deeply about the people in his life. No matter what he had going on, he always put everybody else for himself. He always tried to bring a smile. And the Drexel Ducks was just one of the ways that he did that. I asked him once, when we were hanging out, he came with the idea of spreading these ducks as a high school senior prank, and he planned on doing the same year, he told me, and I asked him, why ducks? And he told me that there was no way that somebody could be able to look at one of these little yellow ducks and not smile. And it's all he ever wanted to do. And he was right. He was right. He reflected that as well. He was the person who just made you smile just by being there. I can't recall a single time that I spent with Brendan, not even a second that I was smiling. And even if I wasn't, it wasn't for very long. He made me smile pretty fast. These last 2 weeks have been very, very hard. When things feel heavy, I like to remember to smile. Because when Brendan smiled, he didn't often do it for himself. He did it for you. Brendan smiled so you would too. Get ready to blow out these candles and wrap up tonight. I just asked that we try to carry that one person Brendan with us. Remember his smile, his laugh, his jokes. I'm sure we all heard his dad jokes and fun. Always had a bunch of this. Any random advice or wise words that he may have just dropped. Check in on each other. Keep an eye out for the ducks around campus. Thank you all again for being here. Tonight's honor night. Please, when we get homesick, please take care of yourselves. Look out for one another. Sam here has a few more words.
Friend of Brendan from Dallas. Make this quick, I don't have too much to say, but heard a lot about some of y'all by name, other y'all indirectly. Want all you to know that you meant so much to him. It means a lot to me to see all y'all here. See the impact that you had on people, the impact that he'll continue to have. So I'm gonna take off doing everything.
That's everything we have planned for tonight. Thank you everybody for coming out. Thank you for coming with, for your stories, for coming and just showing that Brendan touched so many people. Even if some of us might not know each other now, he knew each of us. And you can see it in how many people are here and how many people are here with us in spirit. Thank you. As you guys work your way out, please blow out your candles. Or hold on to them, just don't burn yourself as it gets lower. Please have a beautiful night, and thank you all for coming. Send any photos you have to Drexel Ducks, and thank you.